Madam President, in politics, on television, on social media, and pretty much everywhere, it seems that people are decrying the surge of misinformation. False information and dangerous ideas exist. But the cure to factions of falsehood and the kinds of harms coming from them was something that was prescribed in the very early days of our republic. James Madison wrote in Federalist Number 10 of the value that our large union would always possess in defeating self-interested and dangerous ideas and philosophies and specifically factions. The answer is simple. Our free society with the free exchange of ideas allows for a multiplicity of viewpoints, perspectives, and opinions to be heard. And then the true, correct, and useful ideas tend to rise to the top. Madison wrote, quote, "The increased variety of parties comprised within the Union increase security," close quote. At this point, I would add, the definition of parties here is best understood to encompass information, ideas, and opinions, all things that tend to unify people around one faction or another, one party or another, one group of people or another. But oh, how many have lost their way since then? Be it through mandates, censorship, cancel culture, or something else, it seems that this dialogue of ideas and information is being rejected by many segments of our society. What a shame that is. It's an even greater shame that often this is the result of government action. Yesterday, I came to the Senate floor with one of my dozen bills to try to counteract President Biden's vaccine mandate. This bill that I offered up yesterday required only that the Secretary of Health and Human Services provide the information the department already has on adverse COVID-19 vaccine effects to the public. They've already got this information, and we just wanted them to share it with the public, with the American taxpayer, those who have been footing the bill all along. Regrettably, the senior senator from Washington objected to the bill and described it as a waste of time, one that would somehow undermine trust. Now, my response to that is simple. Why would we ever want the federal government hiding health information from Americans? If we want to build confidence in these vaccines, and we do, I certainly do, then the federal government must get out of its own way and build trust and confidence with concerned Americans by sharing information. Now, allow me to be abundantly clear. I'm very much against the vaccine mandate, but I'm for the vaccine. I've been vaccinated. I've encouraged others, including my family, to be vaccinated, and they've done so. I believe these vaccines are miracles that are helping many millions of Americans to avoid the harms of COVID-19. But there are many Americans who are deeply concerned with the vaccine. They are not going to be people who are simply convinced by cruelty or by extortion. I've heard from over 300 Utahns who are at risk of losing their livelihoods due to this damaging, senseless, and immoral mandate. These are not our enemies. They are mothers and fathers. They're neighbors. They're our military service members. They're our friends. They deserve more respect than being fired, brushed aside, and permanently relegated to unemployable outcast status, which is the inevitable consequence of this mandate. This is where it naturally leads. Now, many of these people would appreciate more information from the COVID research that their taxpayer dollars are already paying for. One would expect the amount of research should be pretty darn extensive, considering that as of May 31st, 2021, just a few months ago, Congress had supplemented the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services with approximately $484 billion in COVID-19 funds. That's a lot of money. That's almost $500 billion. Keep in mind that $1 trillion represents, last I checked, roughly $3,000 for every man, woman, and child in America. Not every taxpayer, not every worker, but every man, woman, and child in America. Well, if this is roughly $500 billion, then we're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500 for every man, woman, or child in America. This is their money. These are their funds. This is money that they worked really hard to produce. And so it should be their information that they have access to. But lamentably, as recent news has shown, the National Institutes of Health often feels the need to hide information about its activities from the public. So today, I've come to the Senate floor for now the 10th time on the vaccine mandate with a solution that should be entirely non-controversial. My bill, the Transparency in COVID-19 Research Act, would simply require that the Secretary of Health and Human Services publish all the studies and findings that the department has supported regarding COVID-19. The bill provides for the privacy of researchers and study participants. The bill would better inform Americans about the COVID-19 vaccines. The American people deserve to have this information. After all, they've paid for it. And after all, they're now routinely being subjected to it, whether they want it or not. Again, this whole exercise should be about building trust and confidence in the COVID-19 vaccine. That is, after all, what we want. You're never going to get that through threats, intimidation, extortion. In any event, that's immoral action. That's not something that we can justify. That's not a way to treat our friends, our neighbors, our service members. I'm grateful to my colleagues, Senators Braun, Lummis, and Tuberville, who agree and have joined me as co-sponsors of the bill. Look, if we want the American people to be comfortable with the COVID-19 vaccines, we should be more than comfortable providing the research that led to their development and their approval. If we want Americans to trust their government, we should be clear that it does not hide important health and research information from them. If we want our republic to function properly, just like James Madison hoped for, then we need to have an open dialogue with all the information. The bill would be a positive step toward each of these ends, and I encourage my colleagues to support it. And so, Madam President, as if in legislative session, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions be discharged from further consideration of S-2844, and that the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration.